Essay number 1. The invisible chains that are keeping you from having the life you want. What if I told you that the biggest obstacle between you and the life you want is you? Not your circumstances, not your boss, not your bank account, you. And more specifically, 8 invisible behaviors hardwired into your brain that are quietly sabotaging everything you're trying to build. Here's the thing about living in any era of history. We're all trapped in what I call a cultural matrix. The Germans in the 1930s couldn't see theirs. Americans in 1776 couldn't see theirs. And we definitely can't see ours. Every generation operates under this invisible set of beliefs that feel like absolute truth. They're so deeply embedded in our thinking that they don't even register as opinions anymore. They just feel like reality. But what if they're not? What if the reason you feel stuck, frustrated, or like you're running in circles isn't because you're not trying hard enough, but because you're operating from a fundamentally flawed playbook? Today, we're going to expose 8 of these mental blind spots. 8 subconscious patterns that are keeping you trapped in a life you don't actually want. And by the end of this video, you're going to see the world and yourself completely differently. Trap number 1, the prediction paradox. You know that exercise where you imagine your ideal life 5 years from now? The dream job, the perfect relationship, the house, the lifestyle? Here's the plot twist. Your brain literally cannot predict what will make you happy. And I mean literally. Psychologically, it's impossible. Think about it. Your brain can only work with data it already has. So when you're imagining your perfect future, you're not actually creating something new. You're just remixing highlights from your past and calling it innovation. This is why you can achieve exactly what you thought you wanted and still feel empty. It's not because you failed. It's because you succeeded at recreating something that was never actually yours to begin with. The real kicker? When life gives you something better than what you planned, something you've never experienced before, your brain flags it as wrong because it's unfamiliar. This is why the most successful people I know didn't follow a master plan. They learned to dance with uncertainty instead of trying to choreograph every step. Trap number 2, the arrival fallacy. Raise your hand if you've ever thought, I'll be happy when I get the promotion, when I lose the weight, when I find the right person. Welcome to the arrival fallacy, the toxic belief that success is a destination you reach, not a process you live. Here's what happens. You turn every single moment of your life into a progress report. You're constantly asking, am I there yet? Can I be happy now? Does my life look successful enough? But here's the truth bomb. There is no there. The only place you're racing toward is death. Real success isn't about checking boxes. It's about how much you expand, grow, and become more yourself in the process. The goal isn't to arrive somewhere, it's to become someone. Trap number 3, the emotional GPS malfunction. We've been taught that happiness equals good and fear equals bad, that our emotions are like a simple GPS system. Green means go, red means stop. This is dangerously wrong. When you're considering something that truly matters to you, starting that business, having that difficult conversation, creating that art, you're going to feel fear. Lots of it. But here's what nobody tells you. Fear doesn't mean danger. Fear means importance. If something makes you feel completely indifferent, that's actually the red flag. Fear means you care. Fear means you're about to do something that could change everything. The question isn't, am I scared? The question is, am I scared of the right things? Trap number 4, the crisis creation factory. Let me ask you something personal. How often do you find yourself in the middle of some crisis that, looking back, was completely avoidable? The fight with your partner over something trivial, the work emergency that you somehow created, the financial stress that came from decisions you made. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not unlucky. You're not a victim of circumstances. You're manufacturing chaos because chaos is easier than vulnerability. Creating crises gives you the perfect excuse to avoid the things that actually matter. It's like setting your own house on fire so you don't have to deal with redecorating it. Why do we do this? Because drama feels productive. It feels important. It distracts us from the terrifying prospect of actually living the life we want. Trap number 5, the belief cart before the experience horse. Just think positive thoughts. Change your mindset. Believe in yourself. How's that working out for you? Here's why positive thinking alone is basically useless. Beliefs aren't thoughts you choose, they're convictions forged by experience. You don't believe the stove is hot because someone told you stoves are hot. You believe it because you touched one once and got burned. Want to change your beliefs? Stop trying to convince your brain and start showing it evidence. Go out and have experiences that make your new beliefs undeniably true. Your brain doesn't care about your affirmations, but it pays very close attention to your track record. Trap number 6, the problem misunderstanding. What if I told you that every problem in your life is actually a gift in disguise? I know. That sounds like something you'd read on a motivational poster next to a picture of a kitten hanging from a tree branch. But hear me out. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, Stoic philosopher, generally badass human, said it best: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every problem forces you to level up. It pushes you out of your comfort zone, makes you think differently, act differently, choose differently. The problem isn't the problem is how you see the problem. That rejection, it's redirecting you towards something better. That setback, it's setting you up for a comeback. That obstacle, it's actually your path forward in disguise. Trap number 7, the past as prison warden. I can't because of what happened to me. I'm not the type of person who, my past defines me. Stop right there. Your past doesn't define you. Your interpretation of your past defines you. And here's the beautiful secret. That interpretation changes every single day. Think about it. You've probably had the experience of remembering something from childhood completely differently than your sibling who was right there with you. Same event, totally different stories. Why? Because memory isn't a video recording, it's a creative reconstruction. And what you choose to reconstruct says everything about who you are now, not who you were then. Every experience is multidimensional. You can choose to remember the lesson instead of the wound, the growth instead of the pain, the strength you discovered instead of the weakness you felt. Your past isn't your prison, it's your raw material. Trap number 8, the mirror of hatred. Final trap, and this one's a doozy. That person who drives you absolutely insane, the one whose very existence seems to offend you on a cellular level, they're showing you something about yourself. Carl Jung called it the shadow self. All the parts of you that you've been taught are unacceptable, so you've buried them deep down and pretend they don't exist. But here's the thing about suppressed parts of yourself. They don't disappear. They just show up in other people and trigger the hell out of you. The things you hate most in others are the things you can't accept in yourself. This isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about understanding that your emotional reactions are giving you a roadmap to your own healing. The people who trigger you are your greatest teachers. They're showing you exactly where you need to grow. Breaking free. So there you have it. 8 invisible chains that might be keeping you trapped in a life that doesn't fit. But here's the beautiful thing about awareness. Once you see the matrix, you can't unsee it. You don't have to predict your happiness. You can discover it in real time. You don't have to arrive anywhere. You can expand where you are. You don't have to avoid fear. You can follow it toward what matters. You don't have to create chaos. You can create meaning. You don't have to think your way to new beliefs. You can experience your way there. You don't have to avoid problems. You can use them as stepping stones. You don't have to be defined by your past. You can be informed by it. You don't have to change others. You can transform yourself. The life you want isn't somewhere else. It's not in the future. It's not dependent on other people changing. It's right here, right now, waiting for you to stop getting in your own way. What resonated most with you? Which of these traps have you been caught in? Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and your insights might just help someone else break free from their own invisible chains. And if this video opened your eyes to something new, smash that like button and subscribe for more content about psychology, personal growth, and the art of getting out of your own way. Remember, the only prison you're actually in is the one you can't see. But now that you can see it, the door was never locked.